My name is Yemisi Ilo, and I'm one of the directors of Battabox.com.
And Yemisi, what is Battabox?
Battabox is an online local video channel, basically for Nigerians, by Nigerians essentially. Nigerians in Nigeria and all over the world.
And where did the idea come about and when did you start?
Well, my partner, Christian Purefoy, was the West African correspondent for CNN for quite a few years, based in Nigeria, and we met, and generally he was fascinated by sort of Nigeria and Nigerians, and he believed that there was a lot of rich and important, content that could come out of here. And I worked in production. I've always done production, producing documentaries and such. And we decided to sort of band together and do something that would basically give a voice, start a conversation, if you like, with Nigerians, amongst Nigerians all over the world.
We were talking earlier of two examples of the kind of coverage you do. Give me the first one about boyfriends.
Okay, fine. We went out to a local university in Nigeria and asked girls there how many boyfriends they felt a Nigerian girl could have. And we were very surprised by the answers that we got. I was very surprised. I'm sure the viewers would think, what's she surprised about? But we got answers that, the Nigerian girls could have more than one boyfriend, in some cases 2, 3 or 4. And it's caused a huge sensation on the internet, and loads of comments were, and a huge conversation was started around that.
And the women at the universities, what was their rationale for having more than one boyfriend?
Well, there was one girl, for example, who actually brought out her phone and said, well, I've got this one saved as expenses, I've got this one saved as never a dull moment, and I've got this one saved as my love. And another girl said, well, 2 different people, 2 different places. I mean, really depending on their mood, they would, and depending on their needs, determined which boyfriend was most valuable at that time.
And did you sense that they were as much in control of the relationship?
Very much so. They were very much so. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they were conscious about it. It was a decision, it was a choice, it was their choice.
So give me the other example we talked about earlier.
We asked women in marriages what the worst thing their husband could do to them that would encourage them to leave them. And as far as they were concerned, they weren't leaving their husbands for anything short of being beaten halfway to death. As far as they were concerned, all men are the same, so all men cheat, so if they were to leave their husbands, they're going to find another one who's going to cheat. A lot of them were just happy to be a missus, a lot of them were happy to be in a relationship finally, and they were not leaving their husbands for anything. It was very surprising that women could actually be so, they were not afraid. I wouldn't say they were afraid to leave their husbands, but they felt that once they got their husbands, that was it for life. Religion also played a huge part in this, I must admit. The religion was a huge thing, whereby they felt that, you're married, that's it, it's your husband, there's nothing he can do.
There's a taboo about being a divorced woman.
Well, I wouldn't call it as much as a taboo, it's just, they just don't want to be the one that is necessarily being divorced. And it's just so strange because you have on the one hand a lot of girls saying that actually I can have 5 boyfriends, and on the other hand you have people saying, oh, I'm never going to leave my husband. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is quite interesting. It's a real contradiction in terms, to be honest.
Fit together?
It doesn't make any sense at all. There's no rationale behind it, because the same girls who would have 3 or 4 boyfriends will get married and refuse to leave their husbands for anything.
And you also do kind of mini features, don't you?
We do.
Some of those.
We do. We did a reality show on a hairdressing salon, a very popular hairdressing salon here in Lagos called Make Me.
In which part of Lagos?
Surulere. And it's very interesting. I mean, watching the day-to-day activities of the women getting their hair done. And we actually spoke with the proprietor, who is also a hairdresser himself, and he's started his business from scratch, and he's grown it to be one of the biggest salons in Nigeria today. So that's a very, very, very interesting one. We also did one on the Osun Festival, which is a yearly festival, basically worshipping the goddess Osun. Again, very interesting because there's a lot of traditional religion still going on in a country that is also so passionately Christian or passionately Muslim.
Yes. So that kind of hybrid belief in that sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, people believe two things.
They do believe two things at once.
Yeah. And how many people watch the videos on your website or on your YouTube channel?
I know to date we've had well over 10 million views. Well over that. And on average we get 20,000 views, 15,000 views on certain videos. Our best, we've had 500,000 views on the video.
One about
the boyfriend. Yes.
Yeah.
You know, the interesting things that we did a how many girlfriends kind of Nigerian guy have, and that didn't do as well. I think because everybody just knew that, well, you know, they're going to have like...
There was no surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so... But we've done so many other things. We also have, we have 2 Angry Men show, which is 2 men basically sitting down together and basically talking about all the different things that irritate them and niggle at them. They bounce off each other. And they have their own dedicated following. So that's like a series that we do as well.
And that's about 10,000 views.
Yeah, on average per episode, yeah.
And so how do you make money from this?
Making money, that's an interesting one. Of course, the most important thing is to actually grow our audience. And that's what we're really working towards. And we've been really fortunate to have sort of investors and backers who are assisting us in order to be able to do that. But in the meantime, we get some money, not very much, but from our YouTube partnership and the AdSense on Google. So that's really what's...
The bandwidth is changing, isn't it? At the moment, your audience is largely diaspora, but how will the bandwidth changes and the...
You know, the bandwidth changes is changing our business. It's improving our business. Currently, the majority of the views that we get on Battabox come from Nigerians in the diaspora. The US, the UK in particular, but Brazil also, funnily enough, and Malaysia, China. Just to show that Nigerians are everywhere. So we get a huge number of views from them. But the Nigerian views in Nigeria is growing. As it grows, we know that the bandwidth is getting much better. Oh, it's better now, it's better now. But, and again, one thing that we've discovered is that the use of smartphones in Nigeria has increased so much that people basically in Nigeria watch us from their mobile phones or from their tablets. That's really where the majority of our views are coming from in Nigeria.
So it's a more optimistic future in terms of...
Oh yes, it's a very optimistic future actually, because it's only going to get better. You know, definitely the internet is going to become cheaper. It has to. And when it becomes cheaper, more and more people will watch video here in Nigeria. And our content is already there. And then we've got a backlog. We've got a back catalogue of it as well. There's so many things to watch. And most importantly, it starts off conversations. And people discuss this and talk about it. And that's what we want, to basically start conversations.